Above a burning red dwarf star, the Galactic Council floats inside its great crystal chamber. The chamber is shaped like a spiral shell, its walls alive with shifting light. Thousands of alien eyes stare across the rows of seats. Some are round and gold, some slitted and green, some nothing but silver mist inside glass orbs. Every seat is full except one. The empty chair glows pale blue. Its sign reads in many languages, Earth Human Delegation. No one sits there. The sound of wings, claws, and metal limbs echoes as delegates whisper among themselves. Humanity is the only species that has not sent war fleets, the only voice missing from the Council. Suddenly, the double doors at the far end of the chamber slam open. A thin, alien courier, skin flickering like liquid mercury, stumbles forward. Its breathing is ragged. In its hands floats a sealed black message pod. It trembles as it approaches the empty chair, then bows low and places the pod upon the desk. The pod glows red. From Earth. Urgent. Every sound stops. The delegates freeze. Even the great living walls of the chamber dim their light. No one expected a message from the silent planet. The courier looks up, its voice cracking. This is addressed to the Council, and to all who plan to make war upon Earth. A cold ripple moves through the chamber. The warlords lean forward. What does Earth want? Why now? The Council speaker, an insectoid elder with wings of glass, touches the pod. It unfolds like a flower and projects a simple human face, no name, no rank. Just a calm, unreadable expression. Message begins, the face says. This is Earth, we have heard you. The hologram flickers and ends. Nothing more. No threats, no promises. Only silence. And in that silence, far away from the chamber, something else begins to move. The galactic war had started like a slow storm. At first, small skirmishes flickered between rival star nations. Then alliances formed, borders burned, and entire systems became battlefields. Now the war threatened to consume the spiral arm of the galaxy. Fleet after fleet was drafted into service. Resources were stripped from worlds. Every species spoke of survival, sacrifice, and victory. Every species but one, Earth. For decades, Earth had remained neutral. The humans sent envoys, not warships. They signed trade deals, but no military pacts. They offered food and medicine to refugees, but refused to carry weapons. To some, this was admirable. To most, it was weakness. Inside the council chamber, above the red dwarf, the whispers returned after the hologram faded. Delegates hissed, buzzed, and muttered through translators. The humans think they are above the war, growled a reptilian admiral whose crest flickered with anger. And they hide behind old treaties. They are cowards, another delegate spat, a mass of shifting gas inside a containment suit. Too fragile for war. A third delegate, a tall being with 4 arms and eyes like molten gold, leaned back. Or too clever. No one knows how much force they really have. The speaker struck the crystal floor with his staff. Order, this message says nothing. Why send it at all? The courier still knelt at the empty chair. I do not know, it whispered. It was given to me at the edge of soul space. The humans said only, deliver it to the council. Perhaps it is a bluff, hissed the reptilian admiral. Perhaps it is bait. The speaker flicked his wings. Oh, whatever it is, the council cannot wait for Earth forever. The war expands. Each neutral world risks becoming a new front. Even now, supplies dwindle. He did not notice the small group seated high above, in the shadow of the chamber dome. They wore no official colors, no banners. Their leader, a thin alien with scarred mandibles, whispered to his aides. They will not fight, he said. They cannot fight. This is the moment. The unknown faction light years away. In the cold dark of a hidden asteroid base, the unknown faction met. They were not an official government. They were war profiteers, private fleets, and rogue admirals bound by secret oaths. On a cracked holotable floated an image of Earth's colony world Gannis III, a small, fertile planet near a minor star, peaceful, unarmed. They refuse to join the war, said the scarred leader. But they grow stronger in secret. Their neutrality feeds their industry. Their trade routes cross every border. They think they are safe, A younger officer with cybernetic eyes studied the image. We strike at their colony. Quick, precise. Take hostages. Demand ships and weapons. They will have no choice but to bend. And if they fight, asked another. They will not, the leader said. They have not fought in a century. The humans are asleep. They have forgotten war. He did not see the flicker of doubt on one aide's face. But the plan moved forward. Back at Earthon, the blue and green planet far from the Council, the humans watched the galaxy burn. From orbit, their satellites mapped battles. From hidden stations, they listened to every signal. The public believed the old story. Earth was neutral because it had no taste for war. But deep under the oceans, inside mountains, and across the far side of the moon, old facilities slept. Their doors were sealed with codes not used in generations. An old artificial intelligence, half forgotten, still whispered across dead comm channels. Monitoring complete. Awaiting activation. In a quiet office on Earth's surface, a human envoy stared at a screen showing the council chamber. She had sent the holographic message. Now she waited. Her eyes were calm, but her hands trembled. They will not understand, she said softly. Her aide, an older man with a scar across his cheek, nodded. They already don't. Returned to the council chamber hours after the message pod had been delivered. The council still debated. Some wanted to send another envoy to Earth. Others argued to seize its trade routes. The humans profit while we die, spat a delegate. They supply food and medicine but refuse soldiers. This cannot continue. We cannot risk provoking them, another hissed. Their numbers are small, but their technology, no one truly knows. The speaker closed his eyes. We are running out of time. Every day the war spreads. Every neutral world becomes a hiding place for smugglers and spies. The humans must choose. Up in the shadowed balcony, the scarred leader of the unknown faction rose quietly and left. He already had his answer. The council could debate forever. His fleet would act. On Gannis III, the human colony woke under twin suns. Children ran through fields of gold grass. Farmers checked drones. At the edge of the atmosphere, a single satellite watched the stars. It blinked once, twice. Then it transmitted a silent alarm. No one on the surface saw the fleet slide from dark space, a dozen black warships shaped like knives. They powered down their drives to remain invisible. They drifted closer. In the colony's small control tower, a young operator frowned at a screen. Unscheduled gravity anomaly, she murmured. Then the signal cut. The first ship entered orbit. Back to Earth, the calm before. The envoy walked through a long underground corridor. She entered a circular room lined with dormant screens. In the center sat a sealed pedestal with an ancient emblem. A sleeping giant curled around a sword. Her aide followed. You don't think they'll actually attack? She paused. They might. They're desperate. They think we are weak. Are we? She touched the pedestal. No, we are patient. The attack begins on Gannis III. Dawn broke. Farmers looked up as a dark shape crossed the rising suns. Then another, and another. The colony's small defense drones scrambled. They were designed for meteor strikes, not warships. They vanished in flashes of light. People ran for shelters. Sirens wailed. The sky burned. From the center of the colony, a single transmitter launched a burst of data toward Earth, a coded plea hidden inside trade reports. It reached a relay satellite, then another, then slipped through encrypted gates no alien could read. Under the oceans of Earth, deep sensors caught the signal. The old AI stirred. Protocol Titan, pending authorization. In the unknown faction's flagship, the scarred leader watched the colony burn. No resistance, he said, satisfied. No fleets, no weapons. The humans are paper. His cybernetic-eyed officer hesitated. We took their people. We took their land. If they fight, they won't. The leader did not see the transmission leaving the colony. He did not hear the deep echo moving through the oceans of Earth. Back in the council chamber, the speaker finally called for a recess. The delegates filed out, still arguing. The empty human chair remained, glowing softly. On its desk sat the black message pod, now dark and cold. High above, in the balcony shadows, the scarred leader's aides whispered, "The first strike is done. The colony is ours. Next." "Next we prepare for Saul itself," one murmured. "The humans are blind," said another. "Their chair will stay empty forever." But far below the oceans, the giant turned in its sleep. In darkness, massive doors groan. Water rushes through tunnels as old machines awaken. Red lights flare one by one. A deep voice, no longer human, echoes through the chamber. Monitoring complete. Awaiting orders. Protocol Titan ready. The camera pans over rows of silent war machines hidden for a century. Their hulls bear the same emblem, a sleeping giant curled around a sword. Dawn broke over Gannis III in soft gold light. Twin suns rose slowly over wide plains of whispering grass. Farmers guided drones between rows of tall stalks. Children chased each other around irrigation towers, their laughter mixing with the calls of skybirds. Above them, a clear, pale sky held no clouds, no threat. Yet high beyond sight, the colony's lone orbital sensor blinked red. It had picked up something it could not classify, something moving without transponders, sliding silently from deep space toward the world below. A young operator sat in the colony's small control room, sipping lukewarm tea. Her screen showed a faint distortion near the upper atmosphere. She frowned, tapped the display. It flickered once, twice, then went dark. In the same instant, every console around her lost signal. The comm tower shuddered. For a heartbeat, the room felt heavy, as though gravity itself had doubled. She opened her mouth to call the main station, but never spoke. The sky above the colony began to tear. Shapes emerged from the high air, at first like black arrows, then like long knife-shaped shadows blotting out the suns. 12 ships, hulls a dull grey that swallowed light, drifted into low orbit. They bore no flags, no identifying marks. Their drives burned cold blue. To the colonists on the ground, they looked like blades sliding from a sheath. The first ship descended. Its belly split open, and small craft poured out, streaking toward the surface like drops of ink. Alarm sirens finally wailed, thin and weak. The colony had no army. Only a few security drones meant to scare off smugglers. They launched automatically, buzzing into the sky, and were gone within seconds, shredded by invisible fire. The children stopped playing. The farmers looked up. A woman clutched her child and whispered a prayer she had not spoken in years. Far beneath Earth's oceans, a dormant array stirred. The plea for help, buried inside a routine trade burst, had reached it. Red indicators flared inside a dark hall, lined with ancient steel. A voice older than any living human said quietly, "Signal received. Protocol Titan awaiting authorization." Somewhere, deep under rock, heavy doors began to warm. On Gannis III, panic spread. Columns of black smoke rose as the alien raiders landed. They moved with mechanical precision, tall armored figures stepping from their craft. They were not an official army. Their armor bore scavenged insignia, each different. They fired at communications arrays first, then power stations, then transport hubs. They did not shoot to kill unless someone resisted. They took prisoners, herded them into the colony square. Their leader, a tall, scarred alien with glittering mandibles, watched from a hovering command skimmer. "No resistance," he murmured. "No fleets, no weapons. The humans are nothing." In orbit, his flagship kept silent vigil. Officers moved about the bridge, eyes on tactical screens. One with cybernetic implants looked uneasy. "We are taking a great risk," he said softly. "They are quiet, but I've heard stories." The leader cut him off. "Stories? My fleet has crossed 3 empires. These humans are traders, healers. They are asleep. This strike will break them before they ever rise." He turned back to the view of the burning colony. "Send the message to our allies. Phase 2 begins soon." But he had not noticed the small beacon that still pulsed faintly beneath the rubble of the comm tower. A backup transmitter buried in the soil had fired once, a narrow burst aimed directly at Sul. By the time his jamming systems detected it, the signal had gone. On Earth, the envoy from Part 1 stood alone in a darkened room, eyes closed. Her wrist console vibrated. A coded alert flashed in silent symbols. She exhaled slowly. "They've done it," she whispered. Her aide stepped forward. "Do we wake them?" She did not answer at once. Far above, satellites turned their dishes, aligning like flowers toward the sun. Under the oceans, the voice repeated, awaiting orders. Back on Ganis III, resistance flickered. A handful of colonists tried to fight with hunting rifles, old police stunners. They were swept aside. The raiders moved to the storage vaults, seizing food, medical supplies, and rare ores. The scarred leader walked among the prisoners. "Tell your Earth government," he hissed through a translator, "that neutrality is over. They will give us what we demand, or we will take more." The translator hissed and clicked, but most of the colonists stared at him with empty eyes. None spoke. The young operator from the control room knelt nearby, wrists bound. She kept her head down, but her mind counted seconds. She had triggered the emergency burst before the system failed. She prayed it had gone out. Above them, the sky grew darker as one of the alien ships shifted position, casting a moving shadow over the colony like an eclipse. On the flagship bridge, the cybernetic officer watched his captain, unease deepening. "Sir, long-range scans show multiple faint anomalies near the outer belt of this system." The captain laughed. "More farmers' drones? We destroyed them all." "Perhaps," the officer said. He turned back to his screen, magnifying a cluster of rocks. They were only asteroids, or seemed to be. He decided not to mention it again. The episode builds toward its midpoint. In a montage, you see Earth's hidden preparations, sealed bunkers opening, old war machines lifting from cradles, engines coughing to life after decades, quiet human voices reciting activation codes, satellites in the outer solar system blinking awake. All this happens without the aliens knowing. Back on Ganis III, the raiders load their prisoners aboard transports. The scarred leader speaks again. "Transmit to the Council. Tell them we have shown the humans their place. If they do not supply fleets, their colonies will burn." His words are proud, but his eyes flicker. Somewhere deep inside, he feels a tremor of doubt. He looks once more at the empty sky, then turns away. The young operator glances up at the suns. She imagines the signal racing through hyperspace, reaching the blue planet far away. In her mind, she sees great doors opening, shadows moving, something vast and silent rising from sleep. She does not know what will come. She only hopes it will be soon. On Earth, deep below the Pacific, the old voice finally receives the key it has waited for. The envoy places her palm on a glowing panel. "Wake up," she says. The panel reads her print, hums, and splits open. Lights bloom across a cavern the size of a city. Ranks of dark hulls glimmer like whales in the deep. The voice speaks again, louder now. "Protocol Titan activated." Engines begin to throb. Far across space, the alien fleet finishes loading its spoils. The scarred leader boards his skimmer, satisfied. "This is only the beginning," he tells his crew. "The sleeping giant is a myth." He does not know that at that very moment, sensors hidden in the asteroid belt have locked onto his ships, silently tracking every movement. Tiny, invisible probes slip from the rocks and vanish into dark space. Carrying data back to Sol, the last scene cuts between two images, the alien fleet lifting from the colony, leaving smoke and silence behind and on Earth. A massive underwater door grinding open to reveal a glowing command room. Human figures stand at consoles, eyes hard. "We will respond," the envoy says softly, "but on our terms." The camera pans to a gigantic symbol on the wall, a sleeping giant curling around a sword, its eyes now glowing. Darkness filled the deep ocean trench. For a century, nothing had moved there but slow creatures and drifting silt. Now a pulse of light crept along the walls like veins, waking inside stone. Massive doors, taller than city towers, trembled. Water shook. Old machines whispered codes they had not spoken since before most of the galaxy was at war. Above, storms rolled across the Pacific. Ships passed over the surface, unaware of what stirred far below. Inside a hidden cavern lined with black metal, a woman stood before a glowing console. Her eyes reflected cold blue light. She had been the quiet envoy, the one who sent a message to the Galactic Council. Now her voice was low and steady. "Confirm Protocol Titan," the console hummed. An ancient voice filled the chamber, deep and almost human but older. Protocol Titan confirmed. Waking sequence initiated. Time since last activation, 93 years. Lights ignited one by one down the length of the cavern, revealing shapes that had waited in silence, sleek warships stacked like blades, long-limbed drones hanging from ceilings, armored suits sealed in glass. Dust and water drifted from them as systems powered on. Far away, the colony of Ganis III lay in ruins. Smoke curled from the fields. Prisoners were gone, taken aboard the raiders' ships. Only silence and scorched ground remained. But orbiting high above, hidden satellites still sent streams of data to Earth. Every frequency, every movement of the alien fleet was recorded. In the command cavern, the envoy's aide stepped closer, awe on his face. "They'll know now," he whispered. "The galaxy will see," she shook her head. "Not yet. They think we are weak. Let them." On a distant screen, the Raiders' flagship glowed, its course tracked by red lines. "We move only when we're ready," the old voice continued its litany. Fleet assets awakening, strategic networks aligning, orbital bastions armed. The cavern shook as massive elevators rose from deeper levels, bringing up still more machines. Hidden engines tested their thrust. A vibration, like a giant's heartbeat, filled the water. At the edge of Sul in the asteroid belt, disguised probes unfolded. Solar sails shimmered. Tiny craft streaked outward like silver seeds, scattering to every system where humans lived. They carried a single message to sleeper cells and covert stations. "Stand by." Meanwhile, the raiders jumped from system to system with their captives. Inside the flagship's dim holds, human colonists sat in rows, wrists bound, silent. Among them was the young operator from Ganis III. Her eyes were closed, but she was counting, remembering, waiting. She had seen something before they took her, a flash of code on her console, a signal acknowledged. She did not know what it meant, but she held to it like a spark. On the flagship bridge, the scarred leader looked out at the stars. "No retaliation," he said. "No pursuit. The humans are finished." Yet his cybernetic officer still watched the scanner with unease. "We are being tracked," he murmured. "Faint, but something is there." "Ghosts," the leader snapped. "The council is blind. Earth is asleep." Back on Earth, silence gave way to a low, rising hum across the hidden networks. In mountain bunkers, old officers and young recruits emerged from anonymity. They put on uniforms no one had seen in public for decades. They moved with quiet purpose, as though rehearsing steps learned long ago. A message appeared on every secure screen. "The giant stirs." The envoy stood on a balcony overlooking the awakening fleet. Through reinforced glass, she saw the first great vessel lift from its cradle. Its hull was blacker than the water around it, its outline like a spear. Blue lights traced patterns along its sides. "This ship was built before I was born," her aide whispered. "Why hide it all this time?" She answered without looking away. "Because war is easy. Power is temptation." We stayed silent until they crossed the line. In the dark between stars, more human assets woke. Float monitoring stations switched to active mode. Old AI sent coded greetings to each other after decades of silence. Tiny drones latched onto the raiders' ships unnoticed, riding along to mark every jump point. The net closed without a sound. Deep under the ocean, the first ship's engines flared, pushing against the water. Currents boiled as the vessel rose slowly, its mass displacing thousands of tons. Above, in a remote bay along a rugged coastline, the sea bulged. A disguised platform split open like a flower. The black ship emerged into night air, dripping, engines glowing. Seabirds scattered. Lightning flashed far away, turning the scene silver. The envoy watched from a command deck as numbers scrolled past. "Unit 1 surface," the old voice intoned. "Awaiting further assets." She turned to her aide. "Send the signal to all colonies. Quiet channels only. They'll know what to do." He hesitated. "And the council?" "They'll see soon enough," she said. "Let the ones who doubted us keep doubting a little longer." In the hold of the raiders' flagship, the young operator opened her eyes. Through a crack in the wall, she saw a tiny glimmer like a firefly. It hovered, then zipped away. She recognized it somehow. Not alien, but human. Her heart beat faster. She pressed her lips together to hide a smile. Something was coming. On the flagship bridge, the cybernetic officer spoke again. "Captain, one of the asteroids at our last jump point moved." The scarred leader laughed harshly. "Asteroids don't move. You're seeing ghosts." But the officer's fingers tightened on his console. "I've fought humans before," he whispered. "They don't show claws until it's too late. The episode builds to its final moments. In a sweeping shot, you see multiple hidden shipyards on Earth, on the Moon, and under Mars's surface lighting up, each revealing rows of warships. Thrusters glow, weapons extend, AI voices echo activation codes. The camera cuts to the envoy, her hand on a railing. She looks straight ahead. "We did not want this," she murmurs. "But they woke us." The last image is of the black ship breaking fully free of the ocean, water cascading off its hull, engines roaring now like a living thing. Its name is stenciled in white along the side, Aegis 1. Above it the storm clouds open to reveal a single bright star. The old voice says, "First assets awake, more to follow, awaiting orders." The envoy whispers, "Soon." The grand chamber of the Galactic Council shimmered above the burning red dwarf. Rows of alien delegates filled the seats again, their bodies restless, their voices sharp. News from the frontier had arrived, a human colony taken, its people gone, its silence heavy. Yet Earth itself remained quiet. No fleets, no protests, no retaliation. To most of the Council, this confirmed what they already believed. Humanity was weak. The empty chair still glowed pale blue. Some delegates stared at it as though it were an open wound. Others smirked. The reptilian admiral flicked his crest and hissed, "They will send a plea for help, or they will vanish." "It makes no difference." A cloud being in a glass sphere drifted closer to the speaker. "We must seize their trade lanes now, before they recover." The speaker lifted his translucent wings for silence. "We will hear any voice that claims to speak for Earth. Until then, no action." He barely finished when the tall crystal doors swung inward without a sound. All eyes turned. A human walked into the chamber. She wore no armor, no medal, only a plain dark suit. Her hair was tied back, her face calm. At her side floated a small black sphere, perfectly smooth, faintly glowing. The guards tensed, but the speaker raised a claw. The woman stopped at the empty chair and looked at it for a moment before she spoke. "I am Envoy Miracane of Earth," she said softly. "I bring a message." The chamber fell silent. Some delegates whispered through translators. The reptilian admiral hissed low. "At last," someone murmured. "A plea." "A surrender?" Miracane touched the sphere. It rose a little higher, spun once, then opened like a blooming flower. Light filled the chamber. Not just words, but images flooded the air. Vast oceans of fire, cities under bombardment, human ships fighting in wars long before the Council existed. Soldiers in old uniforms stood in trenches, faces hard, holding ground against impossible odds. Whole fleets burned rather than retreat. Delegates gasped. Some turned away. Others leaned forward, mesmerized. The images shifted. Not past wars, but things hidden now. Silent shipyards under oceans. Black vessels rising from the deep, engines flaring blue. A single line of text burned across the air in every language at once. "Do not mistake patience for weakness." The sphere closed. The chamber went dark again, no sound. Even the living walls had dimmed their glow. The speaker's wings trembled. "Is this a threat?" he whispered. Mira's voice stayed calm. "It is a warning. We did not choose this war. We have not raised a fleet in 100 years. But you have allowed our people to be taken. We will recover them. We will not ask again." The reptilian admiral slammed his claws on the desk. "Bluff," he snarled. "You cannot fight the whole arm of the galaxy." Mira looked at him. Her eyes were unreadable. "We do not bluff," she said. Somewhere high in the chamber, the scarred leader of the raiders watched from the shadows. He had come disguised as a minor aide to hear the council. His mandibles clicked nervously. He had told himself the humans were asleep, harmless. But the images, how had they captured his fleet's movement? How did they know? The speaker's voice broke the silence. "Envoy Kane, what is it you want from this council?" She answered simply, "Nothing. We came to tell you only this. We will retrieve our people. We will not harm those who stand aside. Those who stand in our way will face what you have just seen." And then she did something no one expected. She reached down, touched the empty chair, and turned away. "That is all," she said. "Goodbye." The black sphere folded back into a small point of light and vanished. She walked to the doors. No guards moved to stop her. When the doors closed, the chamber erupted in noise. Some delegates demanded immediate action. Others whispered of old rumors, of hidden human technology. The reptilian admiral's crest sagged as doubt flickered in his eyes. Up in the balcony shadows, the scarred leader turned to leave. For the first time since the raid, he felt a tremor in his chest. "We may have gone too far," he muttered. His aide asked, "Do we stop?" He shook his head. "It is too late to stop." Far across the void, deep under Earth's oceans, the first warship Aegis I broke free of the water and rose into the sky. Behind it others stirred, their engines like thunder. In the blackness between stars, human probes clung to the raiders' ships, feeding back every coordinate, every jump. Mira Kane rode a silent shuttle back to Earth. She sat alone, eyes closed. Her message had been delivered. She had seen the fear in their faces. She had also seen disbelief. She whispered to herself, "They still think we're bluffing." Outside the window, the stars wheeled past. Somewhere in that darkness, her people were prisoners. She opened her eyes. "Not for long," she said. The episode ends with two images: the alien raiders' flagship slipping through hyperspace with its captives, and in the depths of Earth's command cavern, dozens of black hulls lifting from their cradles, lights burning. A giant long asleep begins to wake fully, fade to black. Deep in the dark nebula known as Veil Sector, a fleet of alien warships gathered. Their hulls were black, their engines muted, their transponders silenced. Only dim green symbols flickered on their screens. Around them drifted wreckage from older battles, jagged metal glinting in faint starlight. The raider warlord moved through his flagship's bridge, mandibles clicking in agitation. His officers whispered in their own tongue, glancing at him with unease. He had brought his entire strike force here, thinking the cloud of dust and gas would hide them. The council had done nothing to stop him. Earth's envoy had only shown pictures and words. No one had fired a shot yet. He told himself this was just theater. But in the back of his mind, the images from the human sphere burned. Black hulls rising from oceans, hidden shipyards, a warning in every language. The raiders' captains sat in holographic conference, each one projected in faint light. "And we move on the next colony within the rotation," one said. "Take more hostages. Force them to fight on our terms?" The warlord's mandibles clicked shut. "No, we wait. The humans are moving. I can feel it. Across the void, far from the council and the raiders, Earth's real power drifted unseen. Dark shapes slipped between asteroids. Engines whispered in silence. Small craft, no bigger than shadows, attached themselves to the edges of the nebula. They were scouts, human scouts, each feeding data back to the newly awakened fleet. Inside one of these scouts, Lieutenant Sarai Cade floated in her harness, eyes fixed on her screen. The nebula's dust made sensors unreliable, but her ship's stealth array was designed for this. She could see the raiders' fleet as faint, glowing signatures in the murk. She tapped her comm bead. "Command, target cluster verified. Heavy warships, support craft, and the flagship." "They're all here," a calm voice replied in her ear. "Copy, stay dark. The giants are coming." Back on Earth, in the massive undersea command cavern, the awakened fleet prepared to move. Hundreds of black-hulled warships floated in liquid suspension, engines primed but quiet. On a raised platform, Admiral Reeve watched the last of the old systems come online. For decades they had hidden here, unseen, waiting for a day like this. The day had come. He gave the order in a low voice. "Launch the shadows!" The cavern opened like the mouth of a titan. Seawater roared in. One by one the warships rose, breaking the surface at night, steam rolling off their hulls. Engines burned blue, but no sound escaped into the sky. They vanished into the upper atmosphere and then into the dark between stars. Back in the nebula, the raiders still argued. Some wanted to strike now, others wanted to retreat. No one noticed the small changes at the edges of the cloud. Drifting rocks that weren't rocks at all, strange flickers of light that weren't dust reflections. Lieutenant Cade whispered into her mic. "They don't see us." "Good," said Command. "They're not meant to." Then the trap closed. All around the nebula, asteroids shifted. Some cracked open like eggs, revealing hidden engines. Others flickered as camouflage fields dropped away. Black human warships emerged, larger than anything the raiders had ever faced. They moved without noise, like predators sliding through water. On the raider flagship, alarms shrieked. Officers scrambled to their stations. "Contacts! Multiple contacts! Surrounding us!" The warlord roared. "Impossible! This sector is dead space." A voice came over every channel in the raider fleet, calm and cold. "You have our people. Return them. This is your only warning." The warlord's eyes widened. The voice was human. He snapped back. "You dare threaten us? We hold the hostages." The voice did not change. "You have one chance." On Lieutenant Cade's screen, new signals bloomed, escape pods from the human captives being launched from hidden compartments in the raider support ships. Human commandos had already boarded them hours ago, silently freeing prisoners while the raiders argued. Inside the raider flagship, chaos erupted. Hatches blew inward. Black armored figures poured through, weapons hissing. They moved like ghosts, taking down guards with precision shots, dragging human captives out of cells. The warlord bared his teeth. "They're inside my ship," he hissed. No answer came, only more alarms. Outside, the human fleet shifted into attack formation. Black hulls slid closer, engines brightening. Massive cannons rotated to face the raiders. On the bridge of the lead human dreadnought, Admiral Reeve watched the operation unfold. "We have the hostages," his aide reported. "Boarding teams pulling out now." "Then hold fire," Reeve said. His eyes were hard. "Let them see." In the nebula's heart, the raider fleet found itself surrounded. Every screen showed black shapes closing in, weapons locked on their hulls, yet not a single shot fired. The warlord stared at his display. He could order an attack, but his stomach turned cold. The humans had come in silence, struck inside his flagship, freed their people, and now held every advantage. And still they had not fired. He felt something he had not felt in decades. Fear across the Council's networks, secret feeds flickered. Some delegates watched from hidden monitors, seeing the trap unfold. Messages raced across the galaxy. The humans are not weak. "They are here, in the nebula." Lieutenant Cade's voice cut through the comm. "Boarding teams out. All prisoners recovered." "Pull back," Reeve ordered. Slowly, like a dark tide, the human fleet drifted away, still silent, still locked on target. Then, one by one, their ships vanished into jump space, leaving only the empty void and a crippled, terrified raider fleet behind. No words were exchanged. No treaties signed. But the message was clear. Back on the raider flagship, the warlord stood among smoking consoles. His officers stared at him. None dared speak. He finally whispered, "We woke something we cannot kill." In the Council's chamber, the speaker received a sealed packet from Earth. It contained only 3 words: "Your move now." The episode ends with a quiet shot of Earth's fleet assembling in deep space. Black hulls lined in rows, engines pulsing. Beyond them, the galaxy glitters, full of frightened eyes watching the shadows over the stars. The dead system hung silent in the dark. No sun, only the dim glow of distant stars and the broken shapes of asteroids drifting like bones. To anyone scanning from far away, it looked empty. Only a few large rocks tumbled in slow motion, glinting faintly as they spun, but inside those rocks waited death. The alien raider fleet limped into the system, still shaken from what had happened in the Veil Nebula. Their ships were scorched, their crews exhausted, their leaders furious. The warlord had ordered a bold ambush to restore their honor. He had chosen this forgotten system as his trap. "The humans will follow their rescued people," he told his captains. "They will come for us. We will strike first here. The raiders' ships scattered among the asteroids, hiding power signatures, loading weapons. Huge cannons were aimed at the empty void. Bombers slid into position. The warlord stood on his bridge, mandibles clicking. His second-in-command whispered, "They will never expect it." The warlord hissed back, "They will come. They always come." Across the system's edge, the first faint ripple appeared in space. A blue spark, then another. The warlord leaned forward. "There," he growled. They approach. Long black shapes slipped out of jump space. Human ships, not as many as before, only a vanguard. Small destroyers and scouts. They glided in without firing, engines dim. The raider captains grinned. The prey had come. "Fire!" The warlord roared. Dozens of alien cannons lit the dark. Explosions blossomed where the human ships had been. For a moment it looked like victory. Then the asteroids moved. The raiders watched in horror as whole chunks of rock split apart, revealing hidden thrusters and gun ports. The asteroids they had been hiding among were not rocks at all, but disguised human war machines. Their hulls glimmered as stealth fields dropped away. Gigantic cannons swung toward the raiders. Engines burned cold blue. "Impossible," the warlord whispered. The human fleet answered the ambush with its own trap. From every direction, black-hulled warships fired. Beams cut through shields. Engines died. Alien ships spun helplessly. The raiders tried to regroup, but their formations shattered under precise strikes. Missiles streaked silently, detonating with white light. Boarding pods darted across the battlefield like insects. On the lead human dreadnought, Admiral Reeve watched the displays. "Target priority, command ships," he said. "Disable engines first. Spare as many crews as possible. Show them we could kill them if we wanted to." His officers moved with quiet efficiency. They had drilled for this for decades. Every move was measured. Every shot was a message. Inside the raider flagship, chaos ruled. Consoles sparked, crews screamed. Shields failing. Someone cried, "Boarders incoming!" The warlord bared his teeth. "Fight them off. This is our system." But already, black armored figures were cutting through hatches, moving like ghosts. They weren't just here to fight. They were here to take control. On one deck, a raider gunner dropped his weapon as a human commando passed him by without firing. The commando only spoke one word in a translator's hiss. "Leave!" The gunner fled. Back outside, the battle turned. One by one, the raider ships went dark, their power drained, their weapons silenced. The human fleet held back from total destruction. They disabled engines, cut shields, then moved on, leaving crippled ships floating. In the center of the storm, the raider flagship stood alone. Its engines sputtered. Its guns hung useless. A black human cruiser slid alongside, massive and silent. On every raider screen a message appeared in clear, cold letters. "This ends now." The warlord stared at the words. His claws trembled. Around him his officers had gone quiet. He could order a last stand. He could die here. But he understood at last. The humans were showing mercy. That mercy was more frightening than any weapon. He lowered his head. "Stand down," he said. On the human dreadnought, Admiral Reeve received the surrender signal. He gave a single nod. "Ceasefire! Secure the prisoners. Prepare for withdrawal." Slowly, the black ships powered down their weapons. Boarding teams pulled out. Damaged raider vessels drifted free but intact. In the silence after battle, only the cold stars watched. Across the galaxy, council monitors captured every second of the fight. Delegates stared at their screens. The myth of a weak Earth was gone. What they saw now was a patient predator, a species that could build fleets in secret, lay traps inside traps, fight with precision, and still hold back at the edge of victory. On the raider flagship, the warlord sat in his chair, broken. "We thought they were asleep," he whispered. "We thought they were weak." His aide whispered, "What will they do now?" The warlord looked out at the black ships sliding away. Whatever they want, back on Earth in the undersea command cavern, Admiral Reeve watched the fleet's return. "Phase 1 complete," an officer said. "Hostages recovered. Enemy fleet neutralized." Reeve nodded. "Now the galaxy knows." Above him, on the big display, new messages from the council flickered in. Some offered apologies. Some offered alliances. Some threatened sanctions. Reeve only watched in silence. He knew this was just the beginning. Far out beyond the edges of mapped space, another signal pulsed, a darker, deeper one. Not from the raiders, not from the Council. Something else had been watching the whole time. A new set of eyes opening. A new piece on the board. The alien homeworld hung like a dark jewel in space. 3 moons circled it slowly, each one bristling with guns and defense towers. Fleets drifted in high orbit, hulls scarred, weapons hot. All across the planet's surface, cities glowed under storm clouds. Banners of war flew from every tower. Every broadcast carried the same message: prepare for the human counterattack. But no one expected what appeared next. Far beyond the system's edge, space bent. A ripple spread across the black like a wound opening. Out of it slid a single black ship, bigger than anything the aliens had ever seen. Its hull shone like obsidian. Its engines pulsed with silent blue fire. Slowly it crossed the dark, not hiding, not rushing. It moved like a predator that knew nothing could stop it. On the alien flagship, the warlord stared at the image on his screen. His claws clicked nervously. "They've come," he muttered. His second-in-command hissed, "But only one ship. We can destroy it before it reaches orbit." The warlord did not answer. He felt the old fear returning. The human dreadnought entered the system. It did not raise weapons. It did not jam signals. It only broadcast a single line of text in every alien language. "Cease fire or face total war." The message repeated over and over, calm and cold. Every alien soldier, every leader, every child could hear it now. It echoed in factories, in bunkers, in command halls. Inside the dreadnought, Admiral Reeve stood at the forward window. Below him, the alien homeworld turned slowly. He could see the moons, the fleets, the towers of weapons. His crew waited for his order. "We do not shoot unless shot upon," he said quietly. "We are not conquerors. We are the warning." Then he pressed a button. The dreadnought's hull panels opened like flower petals. Dozens of smaller craft slid out, black and silent, each one projecting holograms into orbit. They were images, not of weapons, but of what Earth could do. Hidden fleets rising from oceans, asteroid bases ready to launch, weapons systems still asleep. The sky above the alien homeworld filled with these images. A silent show of power. On the ground, crowds stared upward. Soldiers whispered to each other. Leaders in underground bunkers clenched their fists. For the first time, they understood how much they did not know about Earth. The Council watched too. In their chamber above the Red Dwarf, delegates leaned forward, eyes wide. Some whispered they could end the war now. They're giving them one last chance. Others whispered, if the aliens fire, it will be the end of everything. On the alien flagship, alarms suddenly blared. "The humans are targeting our weapons," a tech cried. The warlord slammed his claw down. "Hold fire," he roared. "Do not shoot." But not everyone listened. One young captain on a distant moonbase panicked. He fired a missile at the black dreadnought. It streaked through space, a bright line of death. On the human bridge, the missile closed fast. Admiral Reeve did not flinch. "Activate shield," he said. A shimmering field blossomed around the dreadnought. The missile struck it, exploded, and vanished without effect. The crew held their breath. Reeve said nothing. He only tapped a control. The dreadnought's panels closed again. It did not fire back. Then a new message flashed across every alien's screen. "This is your last warning." Silence followed. The alien warlord's claws trembled. He could order a full volley now. He could die and take millions with him. Or he could stop. He looked at the image of the black ship floating above his homeworld, unhurt, weapons still cold. He saw not rage in it, but patience. He lowered his head. "Send ceasefire to all units," he said. "We stop now." Across the planet and its moons, weapons went dark. Fleets drifted without power. Banners of war hung limp. The human dreadnought held its position for one more hour, then turned away and slid back into jump space without another word. It vanished like a shadow. In the council chamber, the speaker exhaled slowly. "They have given the galaxy a choice," he said. "And the galaxy has seen." Back on Earth, Admiral Reeve removed his gloves and stared at the star map. He knew it was not over. He knew some would still try to test them. But this was the moment humanity had been waiting for, the chance to show its power and its restraint. The sleeping giant was now awake, and everyone knew it. Deep space burned with cold light. Hundreds of black human warships hung at the edge of the alien homeworld system. They did not hide now. They formed a wall of steel and silence, their engines glowing blue like distant stars. Every gun, every missile, every weapon system was powered but not firing. Across the void, alien fleets hovered, shields raised, weapons ready but trembling. The galaxy was holding its breath. On the bridge of the human dreadnought Aegis Prime, Admiral Reeve stood tall, his hands behind his back. Around him his crew moved like shadows, eyes locked on their displays. This was no drill, no hidden operation. This was open, undeniable power. On the alien flagship, the warlord stared at his screens. His claws scraped the armrest. For cycles he had built his name on terror and raids. Now for the first time he felt like prey. His advisors whispered, "They are too many. Their weapons are beyond ours," another said. "Perhaps they will still show mercy," Reeve spoke, his voice calm but iron-hard. "Open channel to all ships, all frequencies." A green light flashed. "This is Admiral Reeve of Earth. We have retrieved our people. We have disabled your fleets. We will not destroy you unless you force us. Stand down and live. Test us, and there will be nothing left to save." The message spread like fire. Every alien captain heard it. Every soldier heard it. Even the council chamber received the live feed. Delegates sat frozen as the sleeping giant showed its full size at last. The warlord's second-in-command trembled. "They are bluffing," he whispered. But no one believed it anymore. Then the humans moved. One by one, massive black carriers opened their bays. But instead of unleashing more weapons, they released the freed alien prisoners they had rescued during months of quiet strikes. Escape pods, medical ships and shuttles drifted toward the alien homeworld, carrying the wounded, the lost, the taken. On the ground below, crowds looked up at the streaks of light crossing their sky. It was not an invasion. It was a return. Admiral Reeve's voice came again. "We do not conquer. We defend. We warned you once. We warned you twice. This is the third and final time. Choose peace or choose your end," silence answered him. Then slowly the alien fleets powered down. Shields dropped. Guns turned away. One by one, captains sent a single word: "Cease." On the council's feeds, whispers rose. They spared them. They could have destroyed the system, but didn't. What kind of species hides such power? In the alien war room, the warlord rose. His claws shook. "We surrender," he said quietly. "Send it to them." Back on Aegis Prime, an aide looked up at Admiral Reeve. Signal received. All forces standing down. Reeve exhaled once. "Transmit our final message." He tapped to control. Across the galaxy, in every major language, a line appeared on screens and networks. "Earth has awakened. We will protect our own. We will protect those who ask. But never again mistake our patience for weakness." On Earth, deep under the oceans, the massive shipyards fell silent again. Black hulls drifted back to their cradles. Engines powered down. But now the galaxy knew they were there. Envoy Mira Kane stood at a window of the council chamber, watching the red dwarf star burn. She could feel the shift in the air, the way aliens now looked at her. Not as prey, not as a curiosity, but as an equal, or perhaps something more dangerous. She thought of the colony, of the captives, of the fleets in shadow. "We are awake now," she whispered. The last images of the episode flash in quick cuts, alien leaders signing a fragile new treaty with human envoys. Council delegates voting to restrain rogue factions. Human ships delivering supplies to wounded worlds instead of taking them. The raider warlord alone in his ruined throne room, staring at the stars, knowing the age of easy prey is over. Then one final shot, Earth from orbit, its oceans glowing faintly, its hidden shipyards now just dark shapes beneath the waves. A single black dreadnought rises into the night sky, then vanishes into the dark. Text fades onto the screen. The stars shook. The giant sleeps with one eye open, fade to black. End of series.